You feel this nervousness on the phone there?
Sir, I've been trying to make an urgent phone call up there.
Well, I don't think it's something I want to do on an overseas phone.
You gotta make some phone calls. Hang up the phone. Prank caller. Prank caller.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to Packernet After Dark. This is the call-in show, the Packernet Podcast Network. If you'd like to call in, if you'd like to participate in the show, please feel free to do so. The phone number here is 608-501-0718. New callers go directly to the front of the line. Got no newbies today. And so, why don't we get started with Daniel from California?
Hey, Daniel from California. I just want to correct the record, right? Just because I know we got Micah. But Miles Garrett is the Calvin Johnson of edge rushers, all right? Like, this guy, like, do you see what he did to Trent Williams? And I'm not saying that was Hall of Fame Trent Williams. I will take that that's an old Trent Williams that's not as good. That's 80% of his former self, which is still maybe a top 10 tackle or whatever. I haven't looked at it. I don't know how he's doing this year, but he's old. He's always has feet and ankle problems now. So I'm not going to take him being Mr. Hall of Fame performance level this year. Just just looking at it at a glance, but you saw, like, that move that he does. He did it to Rashid, too. And it's, when you're that big and you can just do that inside cut, that's like a jump cut to a rip arm and everything. Oh my God, man. Like, that, like, he might be the best edge defender, like, I've seen, just because of everything that he can do. Like, I know that, like, everybody wants to say Derek Thomas and LT and all that stuff, but come on, man. Like, with the amount of, like, passing the NFL does now and all the reps, I get it. It's easier to rack up your stats and everything. But this guy is just the most dominant player on the field. And really, it's very rare for there to be a game where you play in the AFC and you got to play Mahomes and stuff. You got to play Josh Allen, but like, I don't know. I think that if you take the positional value out of it, and it's cool we have Micah because Micah is different. I think Micah would be like a top 5 middle linebacker too. So it's like it's a different thing. And he's just such a positional chess piece to where, you could drop him in and they shift all the everybody to slide towards Micah, but then everybody freaks out and now they have to figure out where everybody's going, and you have 4 guys coming from the right side of the line and you win it that way. So he's a different chess piece, but I just want to appreciate like what we're seeing in like Garrett, just because it's historic. He's probably going to do it, and he's got 25 written on his arm because that's what he's shooting for. So we'll see. Maybe Micah could do that next year or something, or maybe he can do 4 sacks a game to end out the season. So he.
3-minute monster got you. Looks like you got another 3 minutes here, so I'll comment on it before we get to the next one. If you told me right now, who is the best pass rusher, and I don't mean like right this moment, but over the next 3 or over the last 3 years, or let's say the 5-year span of going back 3 years and forward 2 years. You know what I mean? Like, in other words, encompassing a large period of time, both past and present. Miles Garrett is a good answer. It's probably the right answer. But I also think we're overreacting to recency bias. Because he's never done this before. Right? This is a very rare thing that he's never done and probably never will do again. Last year he had the 4th most sacks in the NFL with 14. In fact, Will Anderson had 16 in one less game. And he actually tied Micah last year with 14 when Miles Garrett played 17 games and Micah played 13. So he played 4 less games than Myles Garrett and tied him in the number of sacks that he had. So he is having a historic season, and that's cool, and that's worthy of all the praise in the world. He probably should win MVP, although he probably won't win MVP. But I don't want to get too into, like, obviously he's the best pass rusher when, I mean, it's been very competitive over the last however many years. I mean, Trey Hendrickson had 18 sacks last year. He was probably the best pass rusher in football. After that, I mean, maybe Miles Garrett, Micah Parsons in that conversation, Will Anderson maybe in that conversation, TJ Watt, he had 12 sacks, but you could put him in that conversation. You know, you go back another year, Micah Parsons had more sacks than Garrett, 16 compared to 15. In this case, Micah did have one more game, but, you know, again, this is the first time in the last 3 years that Myles Garrett has had more sacks than Micah. So just putting that out there. But also, Trey Hendrickson had 20 sacks. So, I mean, if we're looking at sacks, Trey Hendrickson is hands down the best pass rusher in football. And again, nobody talks about him. His PFF pass rush grades are off the charts. He has dominated when it comes to sacks. TJ Watt also had 20 sacks in 17 games in 2023. Presumably, Garrett will be getting more, which will push him past 20. But, yeah, we had 2 guys that did that. In fact, we had Hendrickson and Watt that had 20. Josh Allen had 19. Danielle Hunter had 18. Khalil Mack had 18. Micah Parsons and Nick Bosa had 16. And Montez Sweat had 16. And then you had Karlaftis, Max Crosby, and Myles Garrett tied for 9th most sacks with 15 that year. So again, if you had to pick a pass rusher, you're probably right to pick Myles Garrett. That would probably be my pick. But I think we're getting way too wrapped up in this one year, which is a historic year for sure, when we talk about he is like a whole other category above Hendrickson, Parsons, Bosa, Watt. I don't think so. Maybe a smidge, but it is like a category of a group of guys, and Garrett might be at the front of that group, but he is absolutely not, in my opinion. This year, he is, but again, if you look over the last 5 years, he is not miles ahead of any of these guys. In fact, Micah Parsons had an additional game that year, but in terms of actual opportunities, it was 10 more snaps. It was 522 to 532, so the extra game meant absolutely nothing. Garrett had 89 pressures. Micah Parsons had 106. Garrett had 15 sacks. Micah had 16 sacks. So I would chalk it up more to when you add in like the run defense, that kind of nudges it, but also Bosa right there also. And he had, again, he had 122 pressures and 16 sacks that season. That was in 20 games. But Aiden Hutchinson had 121 pressures and 14 sacks. I mean, there are some absolute freaks. There really are. Garrett, Parsons, Bosa, Watt, Hutchinson, Hendrickson. That group, phenomenal. And then you don't have to go back very far for Khalil Mack to have been that dude. His highest sack total was 18, but you look at what he did as a pass rusher / run defender, the consistency across, 1, 2, 3 different teams. He's still doing it at a high level at 30, almost 35 years old. Bit of a down year this year, but I mean, even last year, and certainly the year before for the Chargers, when that was his 18 sack year. Von Miller, absolute freak. And again, he, like Myles Garrett and a lot of guys, he had 16, 17, 14 different sacks generally, but then had that 1 year with 20 in 2012. And I don't even know what his official number is because these are PFF numbers. But 2022, Hassan Reddick had 21. Number 1 in the NFL, Hassan Reddick. Anyways, again, I think he is the best pass rusher in football, but I don't think it's a massive gap. I just think he's probably at the front of a very large group.
Hey, Ryan, Janet from California. Just the latest on the Matt LaFleur aggressiveness and do we want to run more, pass more, all that stuff. I thought, and a lot of people would, 4 touchdowns and, choosing to pass on certain situations would be good. Right? Hard to argue with that. Yeah, I felt like he struck a good balance where he was running at the right times. He was doing. It seemed like they were doing some more first down passing, but really it's just one of those games where everything worked out, so it just looks better. It's probably all the same. He probably didn't do anything different, but I just like how when they needed to, they put the game in Jordan's hands because that's what Jordan needs. He needs to get that elite play going. He needs to get everybody else around him to perform. So when Wicks is good.
Well, and I'll just say yes and no again. I mean, I think generally I disagree with any blanket statement, period. And I know that sounds stupid, and obviously you probably would say, well, I would agree or whatever, but the fact of the matter is a lot of people don't. A lot of people just have those blanket statements. It has to be this way all the time. There are situations where Jordan shouldn't have the game in his hands, whether it's the clock situation, whether it is how he's playing on that day. Maybe he's got an injury. Maybe it's the way his receivers are playing. Maybe it's how good the run game is going. Maybe it's how the offensive line is playing. Maybe it's how the defensive opponent stacks up. There's a lot of variables that go into stuff. Just do what works, and that's it. And it was so annoying hearing the chorus of, he finally was aggressive and see it worked. 1 week after him doing exactly what everybody didn't want him to do, and it worked even better. Because it's not about always be aggressive. I don't know how we can watch the Packers or watch Detroit for that matter, or anybody else and say always aggressive is always the best thing, or always put the ball in Jordan's hand, or always. It's never always. Different games call for different things, and you just have to do different things in different situations. And you just hope that whatever that thing is the right thing for that situation to be able to come out with a win. That's front to back, top to bottom. That's the whole thing.
When Watson's good, and when all these guys are doing what they need to do, we're going to be hard to beat. That's 100% it. And this game was an embodiment of what I think needs. Is we need to put Jordan front and center in these tough positions to put us over the top, and that's bar none what needs to happen. Because if he can get to peak Toyota-thon form, and just give him a couple Tundras, Toyota, please, because the guy is elite, and he will sell some Tundras. So if you give him a Tundra and a Tacoma, he will go out and do 25 more touchdowns to end the season because that's who he is, all right? But seriously, I just want to, when it comes down to it, like I want it in his hands. And I would rather lose out and not make the playoffs and not attempt to make this guy get to his peak playoff form because we've seen that.
Just win. We're getting into crazy territory when we start talking. I'd rather go down losing doing that. No, I don't want to lose. Period. I don't care if we run the ball every single play and win. I just don't care. And if we go into this Bears game and we are running it down their throat, getting 6 yards per carry, and Jordan is having an off day, and he's already thrown a pick, and their DBs are playing on fire. Our receivers are playing poorly, but we can just cram it down their throat and tire out their defense. In no part of my brain is thinking, yeah, but I think we should put it in Jordan's. I don't give a damn about that. I don't care what his contract is. I don't care about stupid Toyota or Hyundai or Mazda or anything else. I need the Packers to beat the Bears. And if you do that with Josh Jacobs, who, by the way, is also a very good player, and we also paid him a lot of money, and there's an offensive line who we pay a good amount of money across the board. There's a lot of people we pay a lot of money to go out and win, including our head coach. And I need him to come up with game plans and not just say, well, screw it. Goody paid this quarterback a lot of money, so just let him do it. That's how it was with Rodgers, and I didn't love that because it was great when it worked. But it was awful when it didn't. You know what I mean?
I know a lot of it came down to he had a clean pocket the whole game, and that's going to be just with Jordan. If he has time, he's gonna eat you alive. But we need him to be Toyotathon,
yes.
Right? He needs to embody the Toyotathon ethos of he can drive the ball down and I will not be stopped. Fourth down doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I will make that throw. And it seems like we're getting there, and I think Jordan's about to go on our run, and we might be number 1 seed. Go Pack, go.
Yeah, I mean, he's playing good football, but and this is what I say about a lot of people, there will be bad days. Jordan's going to have a bad day, and Watson's going to have a bad day, and, Zach Tom's going to have bad days. That's just the way it's going to go, and we're going to need other people to be able to step up around him. I hope Jordan doesn't have a terrible day or very many bad days, more good days or great days than bad days. But, nobody's going to just be on all the time for, however many, we got 5 games plus the playoffs. We'll see. But, it's just, we're just very particular about a lot of stuff. And I just, I feel like the odds of us winning or making the playoffs or winning the division are low enough that I am in no position to make specific demands about how I want it done. If you could just do it, that'd be great. If you're going to take my car to go get an oil change, I'm not going to tell you what station you have to listen to. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, I just need an oil change, and if you're going to do it for me, that's awesome. Thank you for that. All right, I'll take a break. We'll be right back.
Hey, Ryan, how you doing, my friend? I'm just giving you a call because I figured that this is a long week for us because we played on a Thursday, and I was listening to your podcast. I know you're going to see this and be like, dang, what was he doing up? It's winter time. My schedule's all screwed up. I don't have anything to do, so I can sleep all day and stay up all night, or stay up all night and sleep all day. It's one of those weird parts of the year. But anyways, back to the Packers.
It wouldn't have occurred to me because it's 7 a.m. our time, and it just wouldn't have clicked that, holy crap, that's really early in Steve time.
I was listening to you, and I'm glad that you brought it up and you mentioned it in the podcast, and I'm absolutely forgetting what I was going to bring up. But damn it, hold on a second here. I'm going to start you up.
In the Super Bowl, I think.
That's what it was. It was the Rams. It was the Rams winning against Carolina, and it was something that I thought about when it happened. It's like, okay, so this is the number 1 seed, and at the time when they beat us, I believe we were the number 1 seed. Middle teams, there are middle teams, little teams, crappy teams, good teams. It's the NFL. It's the regular season. Wins and losses are about accumulating them. It's not about how great you are or how tough your team is. Every team is just doing whatever because every team has a tomorrow. We can go into a game and we can try anything we want. Why? Because we're going to play again tomorrow. That's not something that happens in the playoffs. And anybody that wants to talk about this team and any team during the regular season and what they are in the playoffs, you can't compare the two things. I think it's a fallacy. It's the same thing when I hear people complain about our coach. He had a bad game. Why? Because we lost. And so he sucks. And so we should fire him. Well, that's just stupid. Are we winning more games than we're losing? So why do we want to fire that guy? He just has to have one top of the level season, get us one championship, and if it takes 15 years to do that, isn't that okay?
Right.
Isn't that an old right thing to have happen? We got our championship. You know, I want everybody out there, and I've listened to us all. Hold on. I'm almost out of time, but I'm going to go on for a few more moments, so I'm going to call back.
Yeah, I mean, I am, a lot of people would disagree, of the opinion. I mean, if you told me this coach, this GM, all this, they're going to work real hard, and in a 15-year span, you get one. There are a lot of fans that would say that's not good enough. I absolutely would say that's good enough. I mean, and you know, that's also assuming there's going to be a lot of wins and a lot of playoffs and a lot of good stuff. And at the end of the day, one of those times, we're going to cross the finish line. To me, that's awesome. That's really awesome. You can't win it every year. You can't. And, you know, to your point about the, you know, how you win or whatever, I mean, it's true, and we can see it based on, look what people, it doesn't matter who you lose to, people will complain. If you beat the good teams and lose to the bad teams, you're pathetic for losing to bad teams. If you beat the bad teams and lose to the good teams, you're not actually good because you can't beat the good teams. If you lose to the division, that's bad. If you only beat the division, that's bad. If you beat the good teams or the bad teams, that's bad. Nobody will ever, like you said, it's accumulation. That's it. There's variability throughout the season. There's highs and lows. You know, you're on a bad day when this team's on a good day, and all these different things. At the end of the day, can you get to 10? Can you get 10 or more? How you get there honestly doesn't really matter, because it all evens out in the end. It evens out with 10 of those games you won and 8 of those games you lost. For every bad opponent you lost to, that means there was a good opponent that you beat. For every good opponent you lost to, there was a bad opponent or mediocre opponent or whatever that you beat. This is common sense, and we don't need to sit here and do this dance where no matter what, nothing's ever good enough. Now, this is different than, you know, what I'm doing when I'm trying to assess the actual quality of the opponent for the sake of going forward. But those are two different things in terms of, you know, like I've said it with the Bears already. They're deserving of respect for the wins that they got. That's not the point. I'm not saying they shouldn't have actually be credited with those wins or anything like that. The only thing I'm trying to determine is how good is this team we're going to be going up against. Because just looking at the record isn't going to give you a clear enough picture. But in terms of winning, yeah, I mean, if you go into, and that's what's funny about it, is at the beginning of the season, people will say things like, I think we're going to get, 12 wins or something. And then we get 12 wins, but people are mad because of how we got the 12 wins. Except there is no real combination of how you can get 12 wins and everybody's happy. There just isn't. Because those 6 losses have to happen. And again, if you pick all the hardest teams, then you just lost to all the hardest teams. If you don't want to do that, then you're going to have to pick like 4 hard teams and 2 not hard teams. Well, that's not good because you lost most of the games against good opponents and you lost 2 games that you should not have lost. So that's not an acceptable combination. And if you end up beating most of the good teams, that means you're going to have a disproportionate number of games that you should have won that you ended up losing. Well, that's not acceptable either. Right? You see how silly this whole exercise is? Well, if we were a good team, we never would have lost to Cleveland. Okay, we have a good record. What combination of losses would you be willing to accept? I promise you there isn't one. And you can call in and be like, I'd be okay with this. I'm still going to make fun of you for it. Or make fun of that combination. I will tell you why you're bad because of it using fan logic. But at the end of the day, 12-win teams get to 12 wins and 6 losses in a variety of different ways. But you're still a 12-win team. And that's what you wanted to get to, and that's what you got to. The other funny thing about it is you don't play that many like really high-quality teams in a season. So why is it so hard to get to 10, 11, 12 wins or more? What do you play, like 5 really top-tier opponents in a season? How many have we played? I mean, if you count Detroit, it's what? Is it begin and end with Detroit? Is it 2? I mean, we haven't played the Rams. Philly's not that good. Dallas certainly wasn't that good, and I don't think is that good. We haven't played, the Patriots or Denver yet, or I don't even know who the top team, Tampa or Seattle or 49ers. Haven't played any of those teams. So why don't good teams just have like 13, 14 wins every year? Because, decent to bad teams don't just win 0 games a year. They actually win games. The reason these putrid teams end the season with like 4 wins is because they win games that they should not have won. That's what happens. This is football. Whatever.
All right, I'm back again. But I want everybody out there listening to consider this one simple fact. This isn't a one and done thing. We are Packer fans. This is a long-term thing.
Yeah. See you next year.
We want to be good.
This season's not even over. We might win the Super Bowl, but guess what? It's still see you next year. And we will. And it's the year after that. It's the way it goes. It's how we roll.
That's what we want to be. Championships. Yeah, you want them. But when we get them, they're the pinnacle peak moments, and they're the thing that we can like point a little thumb to. This Patriots thing, how bad were they before that? They never won anything. And then they had that run. Are they going to win anything again? I know they're looking good now, but they haven't won anything. So who knows? We need to appreciate what we have with our team. And what we have with our team is something that currently and historically is great. And what any other team, regardless of who they are, I don't even care what team you pick, would want to have. Let's enjoy what we got. We got a really good team. We got a team that looks like it has a chance to win a championship. Got a chance to win a championship. You hear that? Everybody, a chance to win a championship.
And as I've said before, that's all you're ever going to get. This is what I see from Packers fans and Lions fans and everything else is, you need to do more. You need to do more because all you're ever going to be is a team that has a chance. That's all anybody ever has. There is no such thing as a guarantee. There's just chances. And they're low chances. That's all you're going to get. If you're lucky, you get a low chance. If you can get a chance up in the double digits to win a Super Bowl, you are a really good team. Congratulations for having a chance that is in and around 10% or possibly better. That's crazy. Well done. Congratulations.
And what do you want to have every year? Chance to win a championship. So let's enjoy what we have going on. Let's look at this team and look at what we have ahead of us. And honestly, it bugged me when I first saw it, but right now I feel real good about the rest of our schedule because the rest of our schedule is primarily teams that are in our division. We got the Bears twice, and then we got Minnesota another time. And it's only 2 other teams that we don't normally play. The fact that we're going to play teams that we know going into the playoffs means we have a real good chance of playing games that we feel that we can go into and dominate in ways that we want to dominate. We don't have to try to figure things out. We don't have to mess around with assuming game plans. No, we know these guys. We play them every year, twice a year, and we have a good run going in. Plus, the whole Bears thing, we get to knock the Bears out. Take control of it and go in, the dominant team in the NFC North. So I'm real stoked. Plus, I got a chance if we do really great, I'm still going to be right on my 13 wins. Go Pack, go.
There you go. It is a tough run. I'm not going to pretend that it isn't. I think we're fortunate that the good teams are on the fraud spectrum. We got 2 Bears games. They're on the fraud spectrum. I mean, they are heavily on it. Denver also. But that doesn't necessarily mean they're bad. Chicago maybe. Denver's probably good, just not as good as they appear. But, look, I don't think we get through this without a loss. And that's just something you're going to have to brace yourself for. Because I know, for me anyways, it feels like any loss is, it's catastrophic. I mean, we could lose to the Bears, but again, like I said, 2 weeks later, we're right back in it with the Bears, trying to split with them. Or we could beat the Bears and be really high on the hog, and then all of a sudden 2 weeks later, we have to do it again. Otherwise, we're in a really bad spot. And that's assuming we beat Denver. We could beat the Bears, lose to Denver, and if Chicago wins that week, we're in big trouble if we don't beat the Bears that week. You know what I mean? So everything is, last week, this Lions game was the biggest game of the season by far. We won, it was euphoria, and then you realize that game pales in comparison to how serious this game is. And next week is going to be massive, because if we win and then lose that week, it really sets us behind. If we lose, now we go into that game, first of all, like third in the division, and if we lose, we're in big trouble. So, yeah, every game is massive, but that's the way it goes down this stretch. I mean, it's in a way, it's kind of like your playoffs have started. It's just you get a little bit more leeway to lose a game, maybe two, depending on how things go with the other teams. Part of the reason I was really hoping Dallas could pull out a win against Detroit to make that much more stress-free, but obviously that did not happen. All right, we'll take a break. We'll be back with Beer, Cheese, Benny.
Brian Beer, Cheese, Benny here. I love Bears fans, man. They are so hilarious. You got all of them online right now talking about, I don't see a loss. Between the two games against Green Bay, I don't see us losing. There's no way. And they're all acting like these are going to be easy dubs. Like they're going to beat us so easily. Okay. I cannot wait, man. Can't wait for that to be proven wrong. Because I know that we're the better team. But again, we have to show up, obviously. Have to put our best foot forward, like you said. And that's against any team, really. But, I mean, I just don't think Caleb Williams is going to be able to handle this pressure. I mean, you saw him against the Steelers. He just, throws the ball, right in front of him in the end zone. Or fumbles.
He is terrible under pressure.
Or whatever. He threw right to a defender. We're going to be having a lot of pressure on him. I think he's going to throw 2 picks, man. And I think he'll fumble, too. I'm not saying we're going to win. Because I'm not like Bears fans. We're going to win, dude. It's going to be so easy. We're going to beat the crap out of you. This is going to be a close game. And I think either way, it'll be close. And if Packers win, they'll win by 4 or 5 or something, or like that at the most. Mm-hmm. But other than that, it might come down to a field goal. I hope it doesn't, because that would freaking piss me off. And I don't want to have a heart attack. I don't want the heart attack pack. I want the attack pack. Just attack them and beat the living piss out of them. But now Bears fans are trying to say, Caleb Williams is a better quarterback. Sure, he's a better runner. He can run. He's a better running quarterback. Good job. Oh my gosh, man. And then they try to say, he's in year 6 or whatever, and Caleb's only in years. Okay, dude. God, they're so annoying, and I have to watch this game with a Bears fan. So hopefully we just win, so that I can just freaking taunt his ass right in front of him, and hopefully Caleb Williams plays his worst game ever. And
yeah, I got a decision to make if the Bears lose that game on how I want to handle that, because we got another Bears game coming up pretty quick, and I know if I go real hard and then we lose, it's just going to come out even worse. So I might do just a couple little baby jabs and then otherwise leave it. I don't know. We'll have to see.
That way I can be Caleb's trash. I hope, dude. I'm praying for it. It should be a good time. In Lambeau. Yes, sir. Because we can't do this, man. We can't have Caleb Williams win another time in Lambeau, and so that the Bears fans can be he's 2-0 in Lambeau. He owns Lambeau.
Yeah,
even though Love owns Soldier Field. We got to win, man. Win and then just keep winning. We got this, guys. Just believe. Believe in the Pack. Go Pack, go.
Yeah, I mean, it just on that one thing, it's kind of massive. Because if the Packers win, you go back and look at it and say, yeah, that one win he had in Lambeau was a Week 18 game. We already had it locked up. We decided halfway through to sit our starters. This is after Jordan got hurt, which, by the way, he came into that game hurt. So pretending he was healthy and then, he got hurt. No, he was hurt already going into that game. And yeah, you didn't get the Packers' best shot because, again, it was week 18. They already had it locked up. They didn't show up and play their best game. And you won by a last-second field goal against the backups. And so, yeah, the Packers win this game. It's like, see, that was fake. Of course it was fake. You can't beat the Packers in a real game. You suck. But you're right. If the Bears win, then that's it. Then it's just, see, 2-0, own the Packers, own Lambeau. Oh, Lord. Oh, it's going to be a miserable game.
Hey, Pack Daddy, it's Garrett from Southern Illinois. It is now Monday, heading into preparations for playing the Monsters of the Midway. I really haven't even considered calling them that for a very, very long time. But I think it's going to be an epic game, possibly. I know weather is definitely going to play a part in this game outdoors, and I do believe the Packers can come away with a pretty convincing win. I think the matchups will be in their favor. Hoping and praying guys are healthy, but I think this is one of those years where there's a lot of Chicago Bears fans who went out on Black Friday and bought a bunch of gear, Chicago Bears gear, for Christmas. And I think this is going to be the shortest turnaround for Chicago Bears gear to be worn before it gets burned in somebody's backyard. So I give it 3 weeks and they'll be burning jerseys. I'm just hoping for a sweep of the Bears this year. That would be the greatest Christmas gift I could ever receive. So let's hope for a great week of preparation, guys getting healthy, and LaFleur doing what he can possibly do to nullify Caleb Williams and that offense by just getting out and controlling the clock, gain possession, do whatever it takes, but just don't let them have the ball.
Yeah, unfortunately, you're probably right. I mean, look, it's not really saying anything massive to say that I don't think it's going to be a blowout. Probably isn't going to surprise you to find out that most games are not blowouts by any team, not just it's not a unique affliction to the Packers or everyone else just blows everybody out. Packers keep every game close. I mean, most games are close. That's the way it goes. I'm not opposed to it. You know, if we're calling 20 points a blowout, I certainly wouldn't mind the Packers getting at least one. I definitely wouldn't mind if it was at home against the Chicago Bears. But I'm just saying, most games are not going to end up as blowouts. But even still, yeah, I'm sure this is going to be a much tighter game than we would hope for it to be because freaking life, you know what I mean?
Ryan, it's Ron from Eau Claire.
Yep.
I guess I really am a Packers fan through and through because this Bears game is feeling like life and death for me right now. I know that's ridiculous, but I'm sure a lot of people can relate.
I get it.
But even more so, there's one main reason that I really, really want the Packers to beat the Bears. And yes, I like it when they beat the Bears just because it's the Bears and just because I want them to win every game. But the main reason is because of that smug head coach of theirs, Ben Johnson, and those...
Yeah, I get that.
Those dumb comments he made about Matt LaFleur earlier in the year. It would just be so irritating if the Bears won and then he walked home feeling so good about himself.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to beat them so bad. If it's a beatdown, a blowout, even better. I want to serve up a slice of humble pie to that guy. So that's the only thing that's got me nervous about this game is the fact that I want to win so bad. I'm not really nervous about the matchup per se.
Right.
The only thing that I would be worried about is the turnovers that the Bears have gotten this year, and then just the running game, because that's been, that's been a weakness, I guess, for the Packers at times, although it's also been a strength at times too. like they've really actually bottled up the run pretty well this season. They're pretty high on the defensive run defense statistics per teams in the league. So I guess if they can play to that strength, then that bodes well for us. But the next 3 weeks, we're playing two of the coaches that I can't stand in Ben Johnson and then Sean Payton. Those two guys are so irritating to me. Forget about the players on their team. I don't really care about that. I don't really have any major beef with any of them. It's just the coaches, man. I just cannot stand Sean Payton. I can't stand Ben Johnson. And that's why I'm hoping that both of them walk home with their head between their legs, or what's the saying, tail between their legs.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Head
what do you
works.
think? Are you as irritated as I am?
Well, I definitely understand what you mean about, nervous just because of how much I don't want to lose. That definitely is the biggest part of it. It's not as much an analysis thing. We've already been over that. I mean, if this was just some random AFC game and I had to look at it, I'd be like, yeah, Packers probably win that game. And that's the end of it. And it does feel kind of like a double whammy when when you have to. Not only do I want to win so bad, but I want to not lose so bad. Yeah, the thought of all the fans gloating and the coach gloating and the quarterback gloating and just it's awful. Sean Payton doesn't bother me, but as far as the Bears, as far as their coach, who is an arrogant jagoff, as far as their quarterback, who is just the most insufferable person, yeah, I know exactly what you mean. All right, I'm going to get out of here. You all have a good rest of your day. I will talk to you tomorrow. Have a good one. Bye-bye.